Hello friends, this is Professor Rahul Krishnaji Bhavne, and in the subject of heat transfer, today we are going to see the experiment to determine the thermal conductivity of composite wall. So the related theoretical portion we already covered in a first unit. So now based on that we will see how to determine thermal conductivity of a composite wall. The setup which we have having such kind of arrangement is there. There is a one stack of different material plates. So centrally there is a plate type of heater where we supply power, electric power, and then this heater will start to dissipate heat. And this heater is sandwiched in between two MS plate on top side as well as bottom side. All these plates are in a circular shape with same identical diameter but different thickness. So this heater plate is sandwiched by two MS plate. Then after MS plate, there is one bakelite plate on top side and on bottom side, and then after there is a wood plate on top side after bakelite and on bottom side. And there are total 8 thermocouples are attached to this composite wall. Thermocouple which reads T1 and T2 attached to the inner surface of MS plate, the surface which is facing to heater. Then T3 and T4 are the thermocouples which are attached to the outer surface of MS plate, and these are the same thermocouple which reads the inner surface temperature of bakelite plate. Then after bakelite plate there is a thermocouple T5 and T6, and the last layer which is of wood. So outside temperature of wood plate, it is measured by a thermocouple T7 and T8. There is one dimmer stat. With the help of this dimmer stat, we can vary the voltage, supplied voltage, and that quantity of voltage will be displayed on voltmeter. Corresponding current will be displayed on ammeter, and the respective thermocouple temperatures will be displayed on a temperature indicator where there is a rotating kind of knob is there. So whatever be the position of that rotating knob, corresponding temperature thermocouple will shows the temperature readings. So this is a schematic of our experimental setup. Now let us see what are the safety precautions. So the majorly the safety precaution is we should not exceed 100 volt to avoid any fluctuating loads or burning out of windings or thermocouples. So we should not set our voltage for the experiment more than 100 volt. In the procedure, we have to switch on the power supply, give a steady energy input to the heater with the help of dimmer stat. Keep initially 100 volt for 20 minutes and then reduce to 80 volt and wait till steady state is reached. While starting, we supply 100 volt because at the beginning, heat is needed to be travel through all three layers of MS, then bakelite, then woods. So to speed up it, we kept initially voltage 100 for 20 minutes, and then after it kept 80 volts, and no doubt we have to wait for a steady state condition. Okay. Then check the input to the heater with selector switch, voltmeter and ammeter. Note down the temperatures every 20 minutes or most probably 10 minutes because of the time limits of practical slot. So most of the cases we note down the readings after each 10 minutes. Okay. Then what are the observations or the given data? So we have a wall thickness. So this wall, composite wall having MS disc, that thickness is 25 mm. Bakelite disc, which is having a thickness 19 mm, and wood disc, which is having a thickness of 12 mm. So this thickness behave like a path for heat transfer. And for a composite wall, the addition of this all thickness, it will comes 56 mm. So composite wall having a thickness of 56 mm. Disc or that slab diameters, it is identical for all kind of material, MS, bakelite and wood, that is 200 mm. Area of disc or that slab is pi by 4 d square. We have to note down, calculate and note down here. Input voltage, so whatever be the voltage we set, so that should be note down here. Then corresponding current will be here in ampere. Now this is our observation table where set 1, that is after 10 minutes, but this 10 minutes is started approximately after 30 minutes or 40 minutes from the start of your equipment, because initial period is required to get a steady state to transfer heat from heater to the outermost wood layer. Okay, so after that 30 or 40 minutes, this is first set. So temperature T1 to T8, then second after 20 minutes, then after each 10 minutes we have to note down, and such a way we have to repeat the process for 5 to 6, and the last one, last set will be the most steady state condition. Correct? So we will do all kind of calculation by using the last set only. Now in the calculation, first we have to calculate the total heat transfer by obviously electrical heater. So total heat transfer is nothing but a product of voltage into current. So it will give in a wattage, and this is the total heat. Now mean temperature, because on the MS plate inner side there is a T1, and second MS plate inner side there is a T2 thermocouple. So what is the surface temperature of inner side? So we will take a average. So TA is the average of MS plate inner surface temperature. So T1 plus T2 divided by 2. So this is the average temperature of MS plate inner surface. MS plate outer surface or bakelite inner surface will be TB. So it is the average of T3 plus T4. Then bakelite outer surface, or that is the same for wood plate inner surface, that is average TC. So average of T5 plus T6, and in the same way outer surface temperature of wood slab, it is TD, and it is average of T7 plus T8. So we have to calculate all the averages. Now how to calculate the thermal conductivity, identify the thermal conductivity. So this is a basic equation. Q is equals to Ka dt by dx, Fourier's law of equation. But as we know, the heater plate is at centers and sandwiched by two composite wall, bottom side and top side. So that means whatever be the heat evolved is divided into two parts, and that particular half part travel through top composite wall and second half part travel through bottom composite wall. So either you may write Q by 2 is equals to Ka dt by dx, or you may write total Q is equals to twice, because there are two slabs. So twice, when we are talking about MS disc, so we use the relation Q is equals to twice thermal conductivity of MS, Kms, then cross section of MS disc, then temperature difference for MS. So average temperature of inner surface of MS plate, this is TA, minus average temperature of outer surface of MS plate, that is TB, divided by thickness of MS plate. So we already know the Q value. Area, it is calculated from the diameter. TA we already calculated in previous step. TB we know the value. Thickness of MS plate, that is length of MS plate, it is given in observations. So from this we can find out the thermal conductivity of MS plate in watt per meter Kelvin or degree centigrade. In the same way for bakelite, in a bakelite we have to consider Q is equals to twice of K of bakelite cross sectional area. Now for bakelite, what is the temperature difference? So average TB minus TC. So average temperatures TB minus average temperature TC, that is the inner surface of bakelite temperature and outer surface of bakelite temperature, divided by thickness. So thickness of bakelite it is given. So from this we can find out the thermal conductivity of bakelite. Repeating the same for wood dish, so we will identify what is the thermal conductivity of wood. For this we have to take a temperature difference for inner surface of wood, that is TC, and outer surface of wood, that is TD. And for a composite wall we have to use Q is equals to twice, because there are two composite wall, on top side MS bakelite wood and on bottom side again MS bakelite and wood. So twice K of composite wall, that is thermal conductivity of composite wall, cross section it will remain same, and overall temperature difference for composite walls, so it will be a TA minus TD, and divided by dx of composite wall, that is the length of composite wall. So from this we can identify the thermal conductivity of composite wall. This will be our result table, where we will write down what is the thermal conductivity of mild steel, bakelite, wood and composite wall. And from this we have to conclude, and definitely no doubt, from heater to outer side to wooden plate, as the thickness increases, temperature in composite slab will be decreases. And second, we have to write the temperature drop across the material is a maximum, hence being insulator. So we have to find out which material showing the maximum temperature drops, and maximum temperature drops will be there which having a minimum thermal conductivity. So the material which showing minimum thermal conductivity definitely showing to maximum temperature drop. So we will say, like suppose bakelite showing the minimum thermal conductivity, so we will write here temperature drop across bakelite material is a maximum, hence being insulator. Either you identify from thermal conductivity value, or you directly go and compare the temperature difference, average temperature difference. And in the same way, for a temperature drop across, definitely MS material is a minimum, hence being a good conductor. And in last, we have to plot one graph where wall thickness, for composite wall thickness on x-axis against the mean temperatures on y-axis. So mean temperature TA, TB, TC, TD, and thickness on x-axis. So thickness will be 0 mm, then 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, likewise. Okay. Now let us see how the actual experimental setup. So this is the actual experimental setup to determine thermal conductivity of composite wall. And this is a stack, that composite walls. So in composite wall, there are centrally a heating plate, then MS on both sides, then bakelite after MS plate, and in last there is a wood plates. So first stack, top side composite wall, bottom side composite wall. So there are two composite walls, and in between this heating plate is sandwich. So we will first switch on the main power. This is a dimmer stat and indicators. So we will switch on main power supply, and on the equipment there is again one knob to switch on the equipment. So put on condition, then with the help of dimmer stat set the temperature voltage, so 100 volt and corresponding amperes, and this is the temperature knob, rotating type knob, and the position set by this knob will show the corresponding temperature of thermocouple, and there are only 8 thermocouples. So if you rotate the knob beyond it, then there will be no any readings. So like this, we have to start our equipment and allow it for at least 30 to 40 minutes to get steady state. And definitely after 30 minutes, it is not reached completely steady state. But after 30 minutes or 40 minutes, we have to note down. This is the first reading after 30 minutes, T1, then T2, then T3, T4, and all these readings we should note down as a set 1, T5, T6, T7, and T8. There is no any thermocouple, so there will be a dash. So after any other setting, it shows a dash. So this is our first reading. Then after 10 minutes, second set, I just combine the videos. So there is a looking like there is a no time lapse, but in actual, these readings are taken after each 10 minutes. So values are different. Okay. But on merging all the videos, so it is seen to be a continue video. T8. This is second set. Then after again wait for 10 minutes and we have to note down the third set. As the heat is generated, so voltmeter may deviate by 1 digit plus or minus side, because thermal conductivity varies with the temperatures. So it affects the value of voltage. Now third set, this time T1 is 74. Definitely we have to wait 10 to 20 minutes after each set. And when we shift the knob, we should wait for a steady reading. Okay, because many times it is fluctuating, just like right now 52 to 41. So whatever be the steady reading is there, that is our final reading, and we should note down that only. So next is a set 4. This time temperature T1 is 79. So rotate the temperature knob and note down the corresponding temperature. Then T3, T4, T5, T6, T7, and last T8. There is no thermocouple, so it will be a dash. And the next reading, 82, that is T1 temperature. So in this experiment, we have to note down only voltage, corresponding current, and different temperatures as a set 1, set 2, set 3, likewise. But it required at least 1.5 hours or 2 hours to get steady state condition. And because of our time limits, we are starting note down our temperatures after 30 or 40 minutes, only because of time limits of our practicals. But in actual, if you required a most accurate reading, so we have to wait for 1.5 hours or more than 1.5 hours to get a steady state condition. How to identify steady state condition? When there is a no temperature changes. So T1 remain the same after second, next set, then next set. So if temperature reading showing the same, there is no change, that means it reached to steady state condition. But this required a lot of time, and limitations of time, we just assume it reach steady state condition about 1 hours. So our last reading will be the reading which we use for calculating all sample calculations. And during concluding our experiment, first we have to reposition our thermostat to 0, then switch off the equipment knob, and then switch off the main switch. Okay, so this is the first practical. And from these readings, these are the note down our different observation table. So first reading we start after 40 minutes. So set 1. Second reading after 10 minutes, then 10 minutes. And whatever be this 90-minute readings, we will calculate all sample calculation on the basis of this only. Then after do the conclusions and draw a graph. Okay.